volume. Is she correct? What do we think?
No, she isn't, because if you got the shape of 12, the height is 12, but the length of it could be 1, and then with the 4 it could be like 4, then the length is like 60 or something.
Right, good. So it does depend on the other measurements, doesn't it? Yes, you're right, the height could be 12, but then the width and the length could be 1 centimetre cubed. So 1 centimetre, sorry, so it doesn't make, in fact we've given an example like that here. So we've got 12 centimetres times 1 times 2 would only be 24, whereas if the height was 4 centimetres but the length and the width were much bigger amounts, you could actually end up with a much bigger volume. So if the height was 4, but the width and length were 9 and 2, you'd end up with a volume of 72 centimetres squared. So it depends on the other measurements. So she's not necessarily correct. Okay, Amir, Whitney and Mo all built shapes using cubes. Mo lost his shape and knows it had a volume that was greater than Whitney's but less than Amir's. What do we need to do to work out what Mo's shape could be? What do we need to find out first?
Don't we need to count off these shapes and then see?
Right, good, we do. We need to know the volume of both those shapes, okay? This one, you could just do length times width times height times width and multiply them together, which is 36 centimetres squared, and then Amir's. You could count the cubes, or you could divide them into two shapes, one that shape, and then that shape, and then add them together. But the volume is going to be 56 centimetres cubed. So Mo's shape would be somewhere between 36 and 56. So it can be any number between 36 and 56. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Just hang a moment while I just change the slide over slightly. So, last question. Eva has built this solid shape. Tommy has built this solid shape. Eva thinks her shape must have a greater volume because it's taller. Do you agree?
I don't agree, because even though her shape's taller, he might have a really small length.
Good. A little bit like the one that we had in this question, yeah. Although the height was 12 centimetres, if the other dimensions were smaller, then it didn't work out as a very high volume, a very big volume. Yeah. Okay, so what is the volume of Eva's shape?
10 cubed.
10 centimetres cubed. Good, well done. And what's the volume of Tommy's shape? 10 centimetres cubed. So actually, although Eva thought hers is bigger because it's taller, they're actually both the same. So hopefully from that you will understand that just because the shape is taller doesn't necessarily mean it's got a bigger volume. It depends on all three dimensions. Okay, so it depends on the length, the height and the width. Okay.